Basketball Society.
What up? This is Alex Fischbein of Basketball Society, and I'm back with you guys for another week of Fisch's Friday Rant. And today, I'm going to be talking about the Eastern Conference, what I think their playoffs are going to look like for this upcoming season, and more specifically, the Detroit Pistons. So, I want to start off with the Detroit Pistons. Personally, I think they look like they could really make some noise, especially in this Eastern Conference that a lot of people think is weak. So, I mean, you got, with Brandon Jennings hurt, you got Reggie Jackson running the point. You have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at shooting guard, probably Stanley Johnson at small forward, and then you also have Ersan Ilyasova who could be at the 4, or Marcus Morris who could be at the 4, as well as Andre Drummond playing at the 5. Now, I know that's not like a starting 5 that'll come out and like blow you out of the water, but those are some really solid guys who know how to play within themselves and who will give you a tremendous amount of hustle day in and day out because they're younger guys who are still trying to prove themselves. So, if you ask me, when you're trying to rebuild a team and come back up in your own way, stocking up with these younger guys, not like that big of name right now, but these younger guys who are hungry, kind of like what the Sixers are doing, kind of like what the Celtics are doing. Just these guys that are hungry, that are trying to prove themselves and try and show everybody they belong in the league is a really nice atmosphere and a nice like locker room to have, because all of these guys are focused on one thing, and that's becoming better as a player themselves and becoming better as a team. So what the Pistons have right now is a very nice core of young guys with some veterans sprinkled in, and I think that is definitely a recipe for a nice way to come up and attract more free agents in the future. Obviously, they didn't really get the big name free agents this offseason, but if they can keep progressing and keep improving from last season, I think that they could definitely attract maybe a free agent or two, maybe not like the huge ones, like they're not going to get Kevin Durant, but as far as I would say on par with like a Greg Monroe, I think they could attract free agents kind of like that. And I mean, it's kind of ironic I say that since Greg Monroe left there and went to Milwaukee, but the way this team is going, I could definitely see that kind of thing happening in future off seasons. And Stan Van Gundy is really doing a nice job with these younger guys. And one thing that I saw just recently was that Reggie Jackson is now really working on his three-point shot, because, I mean, obviously, when you watched Reggie Jackson, the big part about him was that his outside shot was below average. And if he could add his outside shot, that would make his drives to the basket mean so much more, because now they have to play out on him, and Reggie Jackson is lightning quick. So if they have to play out on him and he can hit him with a pump fake or maybe just a crossover or just like a pick and roll, anything really, he can freeze the defense and blow by him right for his regular drive to the hoop and layups. I mean, especially for him, I really think I just think that he really learned a lot being under Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City. He was playing under the king of drives to the basket and lightning quickness over there. So if he just grasped any kind of knowledge that he could have learned from Russell Westbrook, I think that will also help him tremendously, especially adding this three-point shot, because it just opens up a whole new... it opens up multiple doors, not even just one new way to improve his offense. Because like I said, first off, since they don't know how improved he's going to be, they're going to give him the three-point shot for a while. I mean, you can say you're improving all you want, but until you prove it, they're not going to respect the three. So they're going to give him that open shot for a while, and he'll be, if he does improve, he'll be hitting that shot. And then once he starts hitting that shot, people will start moving out on him. That gives him just a whole new arsenal of moves that he could use to either free himself up for another three-point shot or blow by the defender and get to the hoop. And then once you're getting to the hoop, you got all those kick-out possibilities. You got Drummond, who's a beast on the offensive glass, so if anything comes off, I mean, he's right there to clean it up and put it back in. So, I mean, just looking at the possibilities of just Reggie Jackson with, like, Andre Drummond and kicking out to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and now a healthy Jody Meeks, and when Jennings comes back, I mean, he can provide a lot for the offense as well. Then you got a very promising rookie in Stanley Johnson, who personally I think will be one of the best from that draft class. So, I mean, the Pistons are definitely on their way up. That's how I see it. They're young right now, but they've gotten a lot of pieces that I think mesh well together, and I think that they could definitely make some noise and possibly get in the playoffs this season. So, that takes me into my next point, the Eastern Conference playoffs. Now, I would say the top 6 teams are pretty much a lock. I mean, Cleveland, Chicago, those ones are easy. I think Atlanta will be back there. Don't think they're going to have another 60-win season and get another number 1 seed, but I think they'll be back there. And then you got Milwaukee, who's definitely going to be up there. And who am I missing? Oh, actually, I'm also missing the Raptors and the Wizards. So, I mean, those 6 right there, I think are an easy lock to make the playoffs. And so that gives you the 7th and 8th seed that are really in contention. And if I'm thinking realistically, I would say Orlando, Boston, the Pistons, and even the Nets are all in contention. Oh, and the Pacers are all in contention for that 7th and 8th seed. And it really should be interesting because, one, you have the Pacers who, they still have Paul George. Now, I know that they say he's going to be playing the 4 a lot more now, and he's not comfortable with that. He's kind of iffy about it, but you still have Paul George, who at one point was very close to winning an MVP trophy. So, if he can just get back to even close to that level, he can really carry this team to an 8th seed, maybe even a 7th seed. And then you got the Pistons, who I just talked about, who I think could definitely be a 7th or 8th seed. For me, I would definitely say 7th because of the talent they already have, and then just the more chemistry they get, they're just going to be better than what they are now. And then the Celtics, who snuck in with the 8th or 7th seed last season. I mean, they have a great coach. They have some nice young talent. They have a nice young core. And if they play the way they did at the end of last season, I think the Celtics could definitely make it as well. So, like I'm saying, this whole crop of Eastern teams near the bottom, while they might not be like the bottom of the Western Conference where you have to have a really high record, it's still going to be interesting because they're the teams that are on the way up with all these young core members that are definitely improving. Like they're not staying stagnant. They're definitely improving their game, but they're just not at that level yet that you can call them a star, a superstar, or say that they're a top 4 team in the conference. Another one is Orlando. I mean, that's like the epitome of a nice young core of players who could definitely be something big later on down the road. Just right now, they all haven't improved to their like highest potentials. I mean, you got Elfrid Payton, you got Victor Oladipo, Tobias Harris. They just got Mario Hezonja, Vucevic, who has been a double-double beast. And this team has what it takes to get to the next level, just not this season. But I could see them getting that 7th or 8th seed. And it's just funny because I'm saying that like about every team. I'm like, I could see them getting that 7th or 8th seed. Well, obviously only 2 of these 5 teams can make it into that 7th or 8th seed. So for a concrete prediction, I would say Orlando grabs the 7th seed and the Pistons grab the 8th seed, which leaves out the Pacers, the Celtics, and the Nets. I didn't really talk about the Nets because unlike these other teams, they don't have a very nice young core. The Nets are still aging, and they're just in this sort of limbo of like, they know they need to rebuild, but they traded away all their picks and everything in that whole Garnett Pierce trade, so they just can't really do anything yet unless they pull off some moves, and Billy King just hasn't really done that. He just hasn't replenished the team's assets pick-wise, kind of like Hinkie did. Like, they lost some picks in that whole Bynum trade and all that kind of stuff and other trades, but he replenished them with a lot of second-round picks. They got some first-round picks out of it. He's gotten their future back, and now he's trying to sift through it and find the guys that are worth keeping. But Billy King's not doing that. He's not finding other trades, like little ones that he could get maybe a second-round pick out of, or maybe like a late first-round pick out of. It seems they're kind of just playing the waiting game. That's why I said they're in limbo, because they're not doing anything. They're kind of just waiting until they can do something with certain picks or certain players when they're finally out of their contract, like Joe Johnson. So, as I said, my prediction is that Orlando gets that 7th seed, Pistons get that 8th seed. The top 6 are pretty much a lock in my opinion. So, I want to know what you guys think. Who do you think will grab that 7th and 8th seed? Do you think it'll be the Pistons, the Magic, the Celtics, the Nets, the other people? Names are slipping my mind right now. But yeah, let us know. I honestly want to know, because I haven't really heard many predictions from people about this topic. I mean, I've listened to other podcasts about it, but I personally just haven't really seen anyone predicting it on Twitter. I mean, I know it's really early. Training camp is just starting. But anyway, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter at @bballsociety_. And please make sure you check out the website, www.basketball-society.com. And now you can also find my Friday rants on our iTunes with all of our podcasts. I also have another podcast on there, The Atlantic Files, which will be starting shortly when training camp and preseason gets going. And make sure you check out all of our other podcasts as well. I'll put the link in the bio for that. It's on iTunes. We're also on Blog Talk Radio, SoundCloud as well. So make sure you check us out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.